Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to show you how to make a real estate withholding payment on the Maine Tax Portal. Before we begin, these videos use example numbers for the purpose of demonstrating how the Maine Tax Portal, also known as the portal, works as a system and the basic mechanics of how to use the portal. The videos do not constitute tax advice. If you have a question about how to file your own taxes, how to file taxes for your business, or how to file the taxes you are preparing on behalf of an individual or entity, you should seek assistance from a tax professional. Now back to the content of this video. This is the payment that would normally be remitted with a Maine Form REW1. This is a non-logged in activity, so we'll begin on the Maine Tax Portal homepage. Here, various options are organized into categories using separate panels. As with several different types of payment, we could look for the Make a Payment hyperlink, which can be found in both the Quick Links panel and the Individuals panel. Either will bring you to the same page. From there, we would select the Real Estate Withholding option. Bill payments, extension payments, and estimated payments are not shown in this video. If you are attempting to remit one of those kinds of payments, please see the General Payments video instead. Navigating back to the home page, there is also another way we can access the real estate withholding payments. If we navigate to the Quick Links panel again and click the Register and Apply hyperlink, we can see there is a panel on the right called Real Estate Withholding. From here, we will click Real Estate Withholding Payment. We begin on the instructions screen. As always, we'll read these thoroughly before we begin and click Next to proceed. Next is the withholding agent information. Required fields are indicated by red asterisks. And before we begin filling those out, we'd like to draw your attention to the Save Draft button at the bottom of the screen. This can be used at any time to save your progress. You can also use the Cancel button. This will halt the activity and not save our progress. Or we can navigate back to a previous screen by clicking either the previous button or by clicking on a previous screen name in the blue bar at the top. We'll begin filling out the required information, including the withholding agent ID type and ID number, the withholding agent name, and the withholding agent's mailing address. And as always, addresses must be verified by the United States Postal Service, which can be done by clicking the blue address verification hyperlink. We'll also provide the withholding agent's email address and phone number. And click Next to continue. Next is the sale information screen, where we'll provide some information about the sale for which we are remitting real estate withholding. We'll provide the date of transfer, the total consideration, and the rate of withholding. The rate of withholding is 2.5% of the sales price, unless you have a certificate of reduced withholding from Maine Revenue Services. If you select this option, you will be required to provide a valid certificate number. For the purposes of today's demonstration, we'll leave it at the default 2.5% of sales price and continue on. Next, we'll provide the property information for the property being sold, and that will include the date the property was acquired by the seller, the address of the property, the use of the property, and the county and municipality or township that the property is located in. And we'll click Next to proceed. Next is the seller information screen. There is special information for married individual sellers and pass-through entity sellers here. If the seller is a pass-through entity with multiple non-resident members, you may find it easier to upload a spreadsheet with all the non-resident member information. You may download the template by clicking the Download Template hyperlink, filling out the non-resident member information, and then clicking the Upload Template hyperlink. The resulting information will be populated into the non-resident seller information table below. It may then be edited if there are any formatting or other errors. For transactions where there are relatively few sellers, or perhaps even just one seller, you may find it easier to add the seller information manually. You may do this by clicking Add Seller, filling out the required information, and then clicking Add. And that is the method that we're going to demonstrate today. We'll fill out all the required information for this seller. Once we've filled out all required information for that seller, we'll click Add. And we can see that that seller's information has been added to the table. If we need to edit an entry, we can click the pencil icon. Or if we realize we've made a mistake and just want to delete that seller from the table, we can click the X. We can also click the Add Seller hyperlink again and repeat this as needed for each seller. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're going to say that we just have one seller of this property, so we'll click Next to continue. On the next screen, we'll provide buyer information. We can do this by clicking the Add Buyer hyperlink and filling out the required information, including the buyer ID type, buyer ID number, and buyer name. We'll also provide the address. And as always, verify that address using the United States Postal Service verification. Can also provide buyer contact information, including the email address and phone number. And click Add. Just like with adding the seller information, we can see that the buyer information has been added to a table. We can edit previous entries by clicking the pencil icon, or remove an entry by clicking on the X, or repeat those steps by clicking Add Buyer again. If any information is in error on either the seller information or the buyer information, you would see a red circled exclamation point on that row in the table. Since we have no errors on either the previous screen or this screen, we'll click Next to proceed. Next is the payment screen, where we'll enter in our routing number, our account number, and our account number again to confirm. We'll also indicate whether this account is a checking or savings. The payment date will always be today and cannot be changed, and the amount will always be the total and cannot be changed. We are asked to confirm that amount. And we'll click Next to continue. Next is the summary screen where the information provided throughout this payment is reiterated back to us. We'll review this page and make sure that everything looks correct and click Submit. We are asked to provide our email address twice to confirm. And once we've done so, we'll click OK. That email address is reiterated back to us on the confirmation screen, along with our confirmation code. This information can be used to search the submission at a later time. As always, Maine Revenue Services encourages you to make note of this information for your records. That concludes our demonstration of how to make a real estate withholding payment, also known as an REW1 payment, on the Maine Tax Portal. Thank you all for watching.